Hi everybody, my name is Miss Sydney and today I'll be showing you how to make a simple white bread loaf. Alright, so the ingredients you're going to need for this loaf of bread is a 7-gram packet of fast action yeast, salt, all-purpose flour, and olive oil. So the first thing that everybody needs to do before we start making our bread is to wash your hands for 20 seconds. And remember, make sure you get in all the little creases. Also make sure that your countertops or table or wherever you're making your bread is nice and clean because the dough will be on the counter later. Alright, now that our hands are washed and our counter is clean, we can begin making our bread. So the first thing you're going to need is just a medium-sized bowl. And it doesn't have to be glass, it can just be any material that you want it to be and that you just have laying around your house. Alright, so the first ingredient that we're going to need is just simple white all-purpose flour. And for that we're going to need around 4 cups. So all you do is you just take your cups, make sure not to pack it in, you just gotta shake it off. And then just put it in your bowl. So 1, 2, 3. Alright, so the next ingredient we're going to use is salt. And for this you're going to need about 2 teaspoons. Just gonna pull 1. You gotta be very careful with this or else it will just spill everywhere. So there's 1, 2. And I got a little spillage, but that should be alright. Alright, so the last dry ingredient you're going to use is your instant yeast. And we're just going to take it and pour it in. Just like that. Alright, so now you're going to take a big spoon and you're just going to mix everything up and make sure everything is nice and mixed. Alright, so now that all of your dry ingredients are mixed, now what you're going to do is make a little hole in the center, just like this. And then this hole is what we're going to be putting our wet ingredients in. And our wet ingredients are going to be olive oil and flour. So just make a hole, just like this. Alright, so now that we have a hole in the center of our dry ingredients, we begin adding our wet ingredients. So what I'm going to do is add 3 tablespoons of olive oil, straight to the middle, just like this. Alright, so now that our olive oil is in our mixture, we are going to add 1 1/3 cup of water. Okay, so here's 1 cup of water. And here is the other 1/3 cup of water. Alright, so now that you have all of your ingredients in your bowl, you can take your spoon and you need to mix it all together, just like this. And it might take a little bit, but you just gotta keep mixing until all of your ingredients are in a nice little ball. Okay, so a problem some of you may have is your dough ending up a little dry and flaky like mine. And that's okay, because to fix this, all you have to do is just add another tablespoon or 2 of water in and keep mixing until it's nice and soft. Okay, so now that our dough is nice and mixed, we're going to get our flour back out. Just going to take a little bit, just put it all over the counter. And you don't need that much because then if you use too much, your dough will be super dry. So I'm just going to take about that much. And then I'm going to take my dough, just plop it out onto the counter, just like that. So what we do now is we're going to knead the dough for 10 minutes. So I'm setting my phone alarm just so it'll go off. And I'm going to start it. And to knead your dough, you just got to take your hands and you just got to press on it, fold it, press on it, turn it, fold it. And you just move it around with your hands just like this. And you just got to keep rolling. And you'll see a difference in the texture after 10 minutes. It should be nice and smooth. So I'll be back in 10 minutes with my perfectly kneaded dough. Alright, Now that our timer has gone up and it has been 10 minutes, let's look at our dough. So, do you see how smooth that is compared to how it was before? That's just what you're looking for. So we're going to try to shape our dough into like a little ball. I'm just gonna take it. Just like this. This will be fine. And then, what you're going to do is take a new bowl. It can be going before, just make sure you wash everything out. But I'm going to take this bowl, and I'm going to take our olive oil back out, and I'm just gonna drizzle it just a little bit. So that should be okay. See, not much at all, I just do not want the dough to stick to the bowl. So now what we're going to do is just take our bread and put it in our bowl, just like that. Alright, so what I have done is I have just put some cling wrap over the bowl, and now we are going to set this entire bowl aside for 1 hour while the dough rises. Now by the time you come back, your dough should be doubled in size, but if it's not quite yet, you can leave it for a little while longer. Alright, I'll see you in 1 hour. Alright, so I am back with my bread, and now that it has risen some, what we're going to do is we're just going to punch it in just like this and help all that air release, just like that. And we're just going to fold it in on itself. Be careful of the oil, your hands may get a little bit dirty in this process, but it's okay. So we're just going to take it out like this and fold it in. And then what we're going to do is just put it down and then mold a ball out of it, very gently. Alright, so I have formed my ball, and I have also lined a baking sheet with some parchment paper. So all you're going to do is take your ball, put it right in the center of the parchment paper, and then you're going to let it sit for another hour and let it rise some more. So I will see you in another hour. Alright, so yet another hour has passed, and what we are going to do is take a little bit of our flour that we used earlier, and we're just going to sprinkle a little bit on the top, just like this. And then you're going to need an adult for this next step, is you're going to take a very sharp knife and you're going to cut diagonally, just like this. You're going to make a nice cut, and then you're going to do it again, almost like you're making an X. So now we have a nice big X on our bread. The next step is to put our bread in the oven. And your oven's going to need to be preheated to 220 degrees Celsius, which equals around 425 degrees Fahrenheit. And you're going to want to bake your bread for 25 to 30 minutes, or until it sounds hollow when it's tapped on. So I'm going to go put my bread in the oven, and I will see you in a little bit. Alright, so I am back with my completed loaf of bread. Mine personally took around 28 minutes to finish, and can you hear this? That means it's nice and done on the inside. So before you cut it, you're going to want to let it cool for about 10 minutes so it doesn't burn your hands. I have already let mine cool, and I am ready to cut it. Alright, so once again, you're going to want to ask an adult to help you with this part, because we will be using a knife once again to cut the bread. I'll be using just a bread knife, but you can use any knife to cut it that you want. So I'm just going to take it, just slice right down. There we go. Wow. Look at this. This is what it should look like on the inside. A nice, done loaf of bread. Look at that. Alright, and now it is time for the taste test. Now you can use butter or jam or whatever you want on this, but I think I'm just going to try it straight. It's so good. Alright, well I hope you enjoyed following along with this tutorial on how to make a lovely loaf of bread, and I hope you have a lovely rest of the day. Thanks for watching!